Alright, y'all. Alright, y'all. This is the second video in the same day. In this video, I'm gonna talk about something different. Like I thought that was on my mind for a long time, it's still on my mind. The idea of a perfect FPS player. Like this is really like an interesting idea, you know? Because I think it's impossible. I really think it's impossible to have, you know, a perfect player, humanly speaking, you know. But if we talk about AI, if we talk about bots, we'll take Counter-Strike, because that's like my childhood game. We take it as an example. We'll use it as an example for this video because that's my favorite FPS game, you know. It's the game that I played the most, the FPS game that I played the most. I was like 7 years old when I started playing it. I'm now 22, you know. It's like in 2011, you know. Back in 2011. I'm not playing it consistently, you know. I'm not that good at it. I really think like not everyone can become good at something. Yeah, it takes time, you know. There is the 10,000 hour rule to become an expert, to become a master at something, but I think that's not enough. There are a lot of other factors. I remember watching that very tasty video. Like, I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce it right, but I remember like what it takes to be an expert. Like there was Magnus Carlsen in the video and stuff, you know. Anyway, talking about like the requirements, 10,000 hours are not enough. It's like there's also repetition. There is also, you know, like the environment, like all of this. Anyways, back to the topic. As I said, people like the number of hours is not always a reflective of your skill. There are some people who just naturally good like at these games, you know. People who just got like maybe 1,000 hours, like only like 2,000 hours. He might be better than someone who's got 10,000 hours because he's naturally gifted. You know? No, I don't play that much myself. I don't practice like do this aim training and all that. So I can't really speak. I didn't really achieve my potential. But I really think I peaked in terms of you know, in terms of skill, like mechanical skill. I really think I peaked. Because I haven't noticed an improvement in a long time, man. I don't know. Maybe if I did this, like I've taken this seriously, I've started like doing this aim training and all that, you know. I'm playing actually with online with real people instead of playing with bots. Like the reason I am playing with bots, like I'm playing with bots most of the time. Now, if you don't know, now the part of the reason, yeah, first of all, because my skill sucks, you know, skill issue, and second because my network is bad. Like I'm losing network a lot of the time, man. I really can complete a match without losing network, and it's really frustrating. So I tend to play with bots too, and like there is also this problem of pain, you know. It's giving other people an unfair advantage. Yeah, pain and also settings. Like some settings can actually like help you, you know, in terms of aim, in terms of, you know, like having a good monitor, you know. For example, having a 360 hertz monitor is better than having like a 60 hertz monitor, which is what I have. You know, it gives you an advantage in terms of the FPS, you know. Like there's a lot of factors I don't play online. But I really think like if I improve all this, if I get a good gaming chair, or improve all these settings, or improve my setup, and gaming, you know, like my computer, you know, have a good mouse pad, you know, a good mouse, a good keyboard. As I'm using an old ass keyboard, an old ass mouse, and I'm using like a cable mouse. I need like, you know, like this wireless mouses. I don't have this wireless mouse. I do have one, yeah, but it was really like I just give it to someone because it was really like it couldn't grip it well. Like its shape was really strange to me. I was not comfortable holding it. But also part of the reason why like I don't really like wireless mouses, because yeah, except for that reason, maybe it was that reason was particular to that mouse shape. Also, there's another reason, is because like the responsiveness is slower on the wireless mouses, because like it takes a longer time to register like what you do, like with the shots on all this, the clicks. It takes longer to register on the wireless mouse. And I tried this myself. I did like a reaction time test, using a wired mouse and a wireless mouse. And surprisingly, after a lot of attempts, I actually got better reaction times with the wired mouse, like compared to the wireless mouse. Okay, that's one of the advantages of the wired mouse. Anyway, so back to the topic. It's cold as fuck, man. I gotta do this quick. The idea of a perfect FPS player. No, this can't be a human, because humans are imperfect. They make mistakes. No, let's get like. No, define on how do you define, depending on how you define perfect. Now that's the problem with this question. Because some people would claim that a perfect player is simply a player who has perfect mechanical aim. Who never misses shots, who has 100% accuracy. But in my opinion, there are a lot more things when it comes to FPS games, generally, and to Counter-Strike specifically. There is a lot more to it, I mean, if you're someone who played Counter-Strike for a long time, you know that aim is not, it's 80% of the game, but it's not everything. There is game sense, there is movement, game sense, movement, there is economy, there is utility usage. All these things. Game sense, movement, utility usage. Yeah, mechanical aim, What else? I don't know, I might have missed something, but there is a lot to it. You get the idea. So in my opinion, that's having perfect aim. Like, if you were somehow to, there's also reaction time, there's also teamwork. You forgot about these things. Now, in my opinion, if you have a perfect aim, like you never miss shots, when I say you have a perfect aim, I assume you created a bot that has perfect aim, because you can't have perfect aim, as I said. Humans are imperfect, so you created a bot that has perfect aim. He never misses, 100% accuracy. What's the next thing? Reaction time. The next thing that comes to my mind is reaction time. What is perfection in reaction time? Perfection is reaction time is reacting instantly, 0 milliseconds reaction time. That is humanly impossible. That's why you can't be perfect as a human. But as a bot, I think that's possible. So perfect aim. Instantaneous reaction times. What else? I would say headshots only. Why headshots only? I mean, there are a lot of different ways to kill. Body shot, leg shot. Why would they say headshots only? Because it's the fastest way to kill. And being a better player in Counter-Strike, like requires taking down enemies faster. You have to take down enemies faster, quicker. Like it's better to take enemies quicker than to take them slower. Take down quicker, enemies quicker, For example, with the AK-47, just one shot to the head and it's done. Because if you can take enemies down quicker, you can take multiple at once. But if you spend too much time on one enemy, then you might be killed by another enemy. So the key is to minimize the time it takes to kill an opponent. So I would say this, kill the opponent with the best, with as many shots as possible, with the best weapons. The best weapons in the game. You might ask, what are the best weapons in the game? The best weapons in the game are the AWP, the AK-47, the M4, Some people would say the M4A4, some people would say the M4A1S, whatever its name, Depending on preference. But I would say, in my opinion, the best weapon in the game, are the AWP and the AWP and the AK-47. Well, the AK-47 is less accurate than the M4, but the time it takes to take down an opponent, is much less, one shot to the head. While as with the M4, it depends on the helmet. If the opponent has a helmet, it could take 2 shots. I personally prefer the AK-47. In the older versions of Counter-Strike, like 1.6, Condition Zero, yeah, I prefer the M4 because it's more accurate, The AK-47 is kind of hard to control in these games. I prefer the M4. But anyways, I don't know. We could disagree about this point. What's the best weapon? Anyways, we could disagree about this point. But anyways, as I said, like, if you could somehow pick the best weapon in the game, kill the opponent with as many shots as possible, then I think it's possible to achieve perfection in this area. But let's talk about something else. As I said, perfect mechanical skill, 100% accuracy, no misses, only headshots, because that's the most efficient way to take down an opponent. Reaction times, instantaneous reaction times. What about movement? Is there really such thing as a perfect movement? No, a thing the thought that crosses my mind concerning this is that the thought that I have in my mind concerning this is that a perfect movement is basically bunny hooping all the time, because that makes you harder to kill, a harder target to kill. But I don't know, if it's really possible to bunny hop in CS:GO without any difficulty. For an AI it's probably possible, for a bot it's probably possible, but for a human it's really difficult to bunny hop all the time. Most people bunny hop for a few seconds and that's it. I would say I would go as far as saying that the bot must have an unfair advantage to achieve you must have a bunny hop script or something to achieve consistent bunny hops, But the problem is that why the movement of the bot might consist of bunny hooping. What about when engaging with enemies? You can show humans can show while bunny hooping. They can aim accurately. We all agree on this. But can an AI do this? Can an AI bunny hop and at the same time shoot with this 100% accuracy with instant reaction times? Take down enemies, quickly as quickly as possible. Can an AI do that? If it does that, then I think that the AI achieved perfection in the human area too. No, this is just what I think is perfect movement. I think perfect movement is bunny hopping all the time because it makes you a difficult target to hit. That's just me. So if an AI can do all these things, then I think it achieved perfection in all these areas. That's just me. What's another area? Teamwork. Now we can't really define what's perfection in this area, in this teamwork, teamwork area, because some people would argue that perfection basically means cooperating with your teammates 100% of the time. While some would say that perfection is basically being human-like, sometimes going rogue, sometimes listening to your teammates. We can't really define perfection in this sense. I don't know. It's probably a balance between the two, because that's the most natural, that's the most human-like. I don't know. Anyways, it's hard to define the perfection in this area. Let's talk about another area. So there is mechanical skill, mechanical aim, There's mechanical aim, there's reaction time, we talk about teamwork, we'll talk about movement. What about economy? Economy. You should not waste money when not necessary, When you don't have that much money, you should not waste money, because there is a chance you're gonna lose the round. But how much you should spend exactly, depending on how much money you have, that's a problem. I don't know. Someone has to figure that out. What is perfect economy like, depending on the money that you have? I really want to know. Anyway, so we talked about all this. What's next? What's next? Movement, teamwork, economy, utility usage, grenades. I would argue, I would go as far as saying that to have perfect utility usage is basically like having perfect grenade usage is basically having like perfect awareness of the people, like of the enemy's locations, because if you have perfect like awareness of the enemy's locations, you know where they are. You're not gonna waste any grenade. Every grenade that you throw is actually going to cause damage to the enemy. But there is also another problem. Like even if you manage to throw grenades accurately every single time, causing damage to the enemy, are you causing like all the maximum damage possible or not? For example, if you played CS:GO for a long time, you might know that like throwing a grenade like up in the air, like when it explodes up in the air, up above the head of an opponent or of an enemy, it actually causes more damage than if it explodes at their feet. You can try this, There are experiments done on YouTube, about grenade damage. You can find this. So I would argue that a perfect utility uses involves that. They're like dealing maximum damage possible using utility. And it also requires not wasting utility. So every utility like that you should use, it should be effective. So that requires having an advantage, knowing the enemy's locations. Yeah, no, basically being a perfect player requires like having an unfair advantage, having all these things which are not humanly possible, So we talked about this. What else? Not being flanked. Not being a target to flanking. As a human you can't, because like the opponent may come sneaking from behind. Like you can always like avoid flanking, But as a bot, like if you have like perfect awareness, you know where all the enemies are. When they're coming towards you, you know that they're coming towards you. Then you can basically avoid flanking. But there is also another problem. What if too many enemies attack you at the same time? Whether be it from the front or from the back, they're gonna deal the damage to you no matter what. Like there are situations like, yeah, and this is like leads me to another point. Like being a perfect player means me taking no damage, because in certain like situations like where there are too many enemies attacking at the same time, it's impossible to not take damage, even if you react instantly. So that's not possible even for an AI. So it's about, in my opinion, it's about minimizing the damage that you can take. But perfect, like being a perfect FPS player in the sense of having not taking any damage is not possible. Like there are limits in some areas. This is why I believe that being a perfect FPS player in the literal sense is not possible. Anyways, that's it, man. My phone's about to die. I made this video to talk about the idea of a perfect FPS player. I'm sorry if it was rushed, not because it's not well thought beforehand, It's cold as fuck, man. I can't concentrate, I'm dealing with too many problems, but I gotta do something. Anyways, that's it, man. I'm out. Peace.